Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to The Deal with D and J. I am your co-host, Jacob Pearl. Alongside me, that's not DJ you're seeing tonight. That is Mr. Drew McDonald, the Spinnaker Swiss Army knife. See, this is why he's the Spinnaker Swiss Army knife with what we're about to talk about today. I mean, it's the best time of year. We just got done with the Masters. Rory McIlroy, the greatest comeback greatest comeback via himself, as we might say, because he's choked it away so many times. But congratulations to Rory, of course. But we just got done with the Masters. We're now starting to get to Easter. But no better time than now for WrestleMania 41.
I'm so hyped, Jacob. See last year that with the Cody Rhodes and story finishing with Roman Reigns. So to imagine him back this year again, seeing it's like amazing chance to watch him again perform at the highest stage possible.
Me and Drew, we're going to break down the matches that have already been announced and maybe some guest surprises, maybe who knows who's coming. And then we're going to break down who we think wins each match. And we only have one opener, and both main events have been announced. So we're going to speculate who would the opener be for night 2 as well. So without further ado, we're going to break down night 1 here. Where we always know it's a 2 night, so we're going to break down at least the one confirmed night 1 opener. And that is Jay versus Gunther for the WWE World Championship. How do we get here, Drew?
First, Jacob, before we start this, got to count it down first. 3, 2, 1. Yeet. Whenever Jey Uso, he's got this crazy, almost like Kofi Mania style, crowd behind him run to get to the heavyweight championship, and he was known as like a tag team guy with Jimmy for like the longest time, so it was kind of his moment to kind of separate himself from Jimmy. But Gunther though is this top tier athlete, one of the best like traditional wrestlers we've seen in the past like 10 years. So to have those two clash, I'm expecting a crazy match to start off, but it'd be a crazy to see the whole Lisa Stadium eating in unison in that match.
It's going to be utterly exciting. I think this is going to be as Sheamus likes to say, it's going to be a banger after banger after banger. Now, I think a lot of people said leading up to this, it was a very long, drawn out type of hype. They felt like at some point the feud was dying. And I'll tell you right now, the last 2-3 weeks with Gunther and Jey Uso have been nothing short of magnificent. Gunther just cut one of his best promos I think he's ever cut in his career, talking about how he cut Jimmy, loved drinking in his blood, and guess what? He'll do it again every day till Sunday. Like, it's unreal how Gunther has become on the mic. We know what an in-ring technician he's going to be. And I can't wait that we kick off Mania with the main event, Yeet, Jey Uso, and the whole crowd in Las Vegas yeeting along with, day ones. And I can't wait to see it. This match, here's the thing. Gunther is an utter technician in the ring. He can work the guy. He can find your weak points. He will stomp on you. He'll be dirty, but it's all legal within the parameters. He'll take the count to 10. He'll make you uncomfortable. But Jay's got that wild card. He can get high. He's high flying, high action. And you just never know. And the thing is now, like, as a fan, you want nothing but Jey Uso to win. The modern person's like, can Jay win? Can Jay be a main event guy? And I think everybody felt that way about Daniel Bryan for a long time until he went on his incredible run. Everybody felt that way about Kofi Kingston and Kofi Mania. And I think you don't know until you give him a chance. Now, they cut Kofi Mania short to give it to Brock Lesnar again. Yes. But here's the thing. I think Jay, with the power of the Yeets, the power of the day ones, and everything else behind him, I think Jay can defeat Gunther in a banger of a match. Probably going to be a 30, 40-minute match. It's going to be so good. I think there's going to be a lot of close calls. And I just think it makes sense that it's Jay's time now because he's had so many chances, whether it was against Roman. He won't go up against Cody. Like, there's no better time than now for Jay to get the main event belt on him and be in the main event spotlight and let him work some promos.
I think he's probably the third most liked guy on the roster. You have Cody, you have Roman, then you have Jay. Like he's like had a crazy rise from this tag team guy with Jimmy to like standalone soon to be champion. I saw on the show that they're guessing what's Jay's ring gear going to be. So I'm asking you, Jake, what's your guess for Jay's color ring gear for this match?
I mean, he's been rocking the blue and the black, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in with that Raiders silver and black. I think we're going to see a lot of silver and black in Vegas, but I wouldn't be surprised if we also saw some gold in there from Jay. I think if I had to put my money on it, I think we're going to go with the silver and the black, but I mean, I think it's going to be sweet nonetheless.
Allegiant Stadium, packed house, would be an incredible tone setter, I think, for the night one with Jay Uso and Gunther match.
Who do you have winning? Did you say?
I mean, I'd not say that, but I'll say it. It's Jey Uso is going to win it with a very well told story match. I would say that kind of has the whole crowd in a positive hype move going into the next match. So it's be a great tone setter for the first night of WrestleMania.
Yes, I think it will be. Now, granted, not a lot of the matches have been fully announced yet, so this card is pretty still incomplete here, right? So, coming off this banger of a Jay versus Gunther match, my best guess for what will be the second match after them on night one, we're probably looking at Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Something that's a little bit still going to be good, but I'll tell you right now, this feud has been everything forgettable. They have fumbled Jade Cargill since she's come into the WWE. And Naomi, she's okay on the mic. She's okay in the ring. I thought they were great as a tag team. I thought they should have stayed that way. One of them turned heel. I didn't understand why they turned heel. I think the story's a little lost in the sauce, as they will say. With that being said, I think you don't have Cargill in WrestleMania for her to lose. I think this is a stepping stone for her to eventually make her way into the women's title picture. That's a little clogged up at the moment, but with the way I see the card breaking down, she might be the next in line for a push. With that being said, I think it's going to be Jade Cargill going to take down Naomi in match 2
I was
of the
like,
night.
yeah, I was a big fan of Jade in AW when she started out. Really crazy, great athlete, but she wasn't really booked very well. It's kind of like this top tier wrestler like that no one could really compete with. But she came to WWE and she has the caliber to be a champion at some point. I just don't like how the story unfolded with her and Naomi. Naomi, very athletic wrestler, been there for a while, but it has, like I said, no juice, no sauce. This storyline. But if we can see Jade show out, also had two good Jade facts. Fact one went to JU and the ASON, and fact two, her husband is Brandon Phillips from the Reds.
How about that? How about that? So apparently, we don't have to guess who's night 1 or night 2 because they have split them. I'm reading here in this article, but we can take a guess of which way the orders of the matches are going to go. So after Naomi and Jade, I think we're going to get the tag team match of the War Raiders versus the heel New Day. And the way I see this going down is since they've turned heel, it has been nothing but phenomenal work on the mic from the New Day. I think this heel turn was needed. I think it's fresh. I think it's different. The War Raiders, though, are absolute animals in the ring. They're behemoths, but they move like doves and swans, so graceful. They do so well. In the New Day, again, it's not a New Day. Yes, it is anymore. These guys do not care. They don't care what you think of them. They don't care how things go down. They'll play dirty. They'll get in your face. They're going to get booed off the stage. And I think that's, with it being said and the way it's moving down, it just seems like it's a time for the New Day to win the belt. Because now it's time for the ultimate heel push from them. You didn't like us. You didn't think we were going to win the belt. And guess what? We have the belt now. They ditched their own brethren. Big E. Big E, the man. They had to ditch him away. And this is where we're at now with the New Day and the Roar Raiders. Drew, give me your thoughts. But I'm taking the New Day to be our new champs here.
Unicorn horns, no more. Pancakes, no more. This is a fresh new coat of paint for the
No
New
more,
Day.
no more bootios.
Or Budios, I love Budios too. It was a great T-shirt too. To see the way Xavier Woods undressed Big E in that promo was incredible. It's like a great promo to like show their stance and what they're kind of going towards right now. Eric and Ivar though, they're such an underrated tag team. That really good NXT run back in the old like 2019 days against Street Profits. They always have good matches, so we're gonna get a great wrestling match nonetheless. But to see the new direction that New Day goes into is exciting. So I'll kind of edge toward New Day. Maybe we see Big E at some point this year, like run in at some point. That'd be kind of cool to see. But
I don't know. His neck injury pretty much keeps him at bay. Like, I don't think he's ever stepping foot in a ring. I mean, I did think about maybe Big E cost him this match as well. Like, does he run in, distract them, and then the Roar Raiders just come in and just mess him up? I don't know. But yeah, I think it's the New Day's time. Who'd you have winning?
I had the New Day. Also, I love their new intro. It's pretty sick. The new like with the what do you call it? The scepter they're holding too on the background. That's pretty sick. So I like that.
Well, I think we're going to go from one championship match to another here. I think we're going to go to LA Knight
Yeah.
versus Jacob Fatu for the U.S. Championship belt. I mean, LA Knight, what a guy. Not the best in ring. We've seen it, but he's been on fire. He's got people saying, he's got the yeah chant. He says, let me talk to you, right? Not to get mixed up with that podcast, obviously. He's got three words that everybody is saying.
A night. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this could be his Mania moment. I think last year he got hot a little too late for it to really kind of come into where it was going. What was his match last year? Do we remember?
Was that Logan Paul or no?
I think it might have been. Yeah, it was LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
Interesting.
So with that being said, did he defeated AJ Styles, correct?
I would think so.
Yeah, I think he did. Because last year was Logan Paul, Randy Orton. I think LA Knight defeated AJ Styles last year. With that being said, this feud has no juice. Again, like we've talked about, no sauce, even though LA Knight's phenomenal on the mic. The problem is you put him up with a guy who's not a guy on the mic. He's an in-ring guy. You got two complete polar opposites, right? I just think Fatu, I just don't know where they're going with this new bloodline stuff right now. I feel like that's been like forgotten about. I haven't heard about Solo in a minute. I haven't heard about Tonga. Like I haven't heard about, really Fatu outside of like maybe some things I see promo wise. Like this match is pretty forgettable on paper. I think it's going to be a solid match because I think they're both going to pull out some stops. I think we're going to see incredible athleticism from Fatu, right? But I mean, with that being said, I do think LA Knight retains his title. I just think that makes the most sense just because I think somebody's going to cost Fatu the loss. I think it's going to get convoluted. I think it's going to get messy, and LA Knight's going to come out as the champion.
But like side to side, like better wrestler is Jacob Fatu at this point. He's like this crazy mix of size and speed, just like a terrible like werewolf in the ring. LA Knight, he's getting up there, getting kind of older compared to the other guys on the roster, but he can still put out quality matches. I think that this is the time for LA Knight to show like he can still compete with the best of the wrestlers in the rosters. I'll give Jacob Fatu the win with this one because I love LA Knight, met him this year, cool dude. But I'm gonna side with the werewolf on this one. Jacob Fatu, my pick.
Next match, I am predicting it's going to be Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Now, we don't know who El Grande Americano is.
It stops me this
Right.
way.
Huh? I can't figure it. I can't figure it out. Nobody knows. Rey Mysterio is going to go up against him. It's going to be a great, great match. I mean, it feels like it should be Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable, but again, another year without a Chad Gable match. Just like what are
He campaigned so much for Chad Gable to have action in WrestleMania. Like, to go against Race would be like a great opportunity, but like, hey, like around the cards, it's tough draw for Chad Gable. This new guy though, well, Grande, he's like El Mejor of all the wrestlers in the division. Imagine him and Chad in the same room, be crazy to think about. Like I can't. It'd be nuts.
funny enough that you mentioned that. I've never seen them in the same room together.
Yeah, It's like he even says like shoosh, like that's crazy to like he used to say shoosh and chacha shoosh, like what's the odds of them both saying the same catchphrase? Like it's baffling to me.
It's crazy. But with that being said, I think we find out that night in a via of the unmasking who El Grande Americano is. With that reveal, though, I think it's going to be a heartbreaking loss for El Grande. I think Ray continues his wins at WrestleMania. I just think the way it's going to go, it's going to be El Grande up against a rope. Ray's going to unmask him. He's going to show the whole world who he is. And then Ray's going to run back, hit the ropes, come back, 619, roll up pin.
Ray has faced Batista, he's faced Brock Lesnar, but now they compare to Grande. It's like this is his biggest challenge of his career. It's crazy. Like this age of his, it's impossible to imagine this match happening in WrestleMania 41. Like it's ridiculous. But I'm giving Ray the slight edge because he has that experience, the Hall of Famer. But again, El Grande could be a crazy mystery standout. We don't even know who he is on that match though.
So you're taking El Grande?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm going with Ray. But Ray has a slight edge over this crazy, like unknown wrestler.
The unknown scares me, man.
Yeah,
It's one of those things where it's like, do you ride with the unknown? But it's one of those things where Ray has been so consistent. He's won his last couple Mania matches. Like, I don't think, talking, jumping out of the bit, I don't see him losing in WrestleMania to a bit like this. And if he does, it's going to be absolutely amazing how great the bit is.
unless Dirty Dom comes out and maybe like mess up the match. But
Moving on, we got the Women's WWE Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Again, we've been talking about how some of these promos have had no sauce, have no juice. It's confusing I feel like the chips, pun intended, have been pushed on the table into one side of where we are focusing a lot of our attention on in this realm of WrestleMania 41. Maybe I'm too big of a casual because I'm not really watching every episode every single week, right? I'm a social media guy. So I'm going off what WWE wants to show me, right? And with that being said, it's like, and I see some things on TikTok, shout out my guy Santi, but I don't know, like, I feel like they're going to go with Charlotte, even though she came back and gave this emotional promo, but nobody cared because we're so sick of Charlotte. She leaves, comes back, gets an immediate title shot. And it's like the most frustrating thing in the world for me as a fan when it's like I can see Tiffany going up against like somebody else who I much rather see her go up against somebody else.
Jordan Grace,
Jordan Grace would be a great one, right? Heck, give Jade Cargill a shot,
Roxanne Perez.
right? Yeah, like maybe Liv Morgan gets back in there. And then we put the freaking belt, right? We'll get to this in night two, but we put the belt on Io Sky, arguably the most forgettable champion of all time, besides, a couple other people. But like, we're going to give the belt to Charlotte, even though we shouldn't. She's going to come back. She's going to give this big, passionate speech about how, like she thought her, like, and granted, like, some of it's like, self-induced from Charlotte. But the problem is Charlotte and Tiffany are going to put on a phenomenal match. It's going to be so good. We're going to see the Charlotte where she's going to have her in the figure eight. And Tiffy looks like she's going to tap it. Tiffy breaks. And Charlotte's going to brush back her hair and be like, and then she's going to hit her with some, like.
Give me a natural selection on her.
Yep. The natural selection and all these things. And I love Tiffany Stratton, but she's also had a very forgettable title run to no fault of her own. Again, they just pushed the chips in different directions with some of their feuds, and you've really felt them. Because this night one card, there's some good matches, but some of them have no promo. You kind of have a general basis of what they're fighting for, but like at the end of the day, like I don't really know why. Like Charlotte was going after like Ludwig, and I was like, what? I was like,
it's very like Bravo, kind of like Housewife, kind of like Ramos, just like catty stuff, which is like it's really resonating a lot with the fans. But
Charlotte. Also, Charlotte ain't one to talk. She cheated on Andrade, so like that's her own.
it's also it's the same character she has, like the same Charlotte character, like head down to the Queen, all that stuff. It's like the
Yeah,
same material, and it gets old for a lot of the fans. But the thing is that Tiffany is so similar to her as like the younger version of Charlotte, because they're both gymnast backgrounds, both incredible athletes. I think I love the build though from Tiffany's Money in the Bank to cash in. That's kind of fun to watch her get that championship. I don't see her losing to Charlotte because like she's the future of this company. She's one of the best athletes on the roster, honestly, between the guys and the girls. I go with Tiffany here, but like this could have been so much better with the proper build for the match.
I agree. I just the builds, man. It's just like some of these are good. Like the El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio has a much better build than Tiffy and Charlotte, and that's the bigger match for a belt.
Hmm.
And it's gonna be the penultimate match before the main event, which we're about to dive into. And yet I'm sitting here being like, what is this match going to provide me other than probably a really good match? And like Charlotte's won the belt 14 times. Like, do we really need to give her a 15th?
Could have.
I do think the belt's going to go to Charlotte just because like I feel like that's been promised her. Like, how often do you see a guy win the Royal Rumble or woman win the Royal Rumble and not win the belt? Since Asuka, when she had this unbeaten streak and then like didn't matter when she faced Charlotte, lost in 5 minutes. Like, I don't know, name me a time where the last Royal Rumble winner we saw didn't win the belt that they challenged.
I know that Shinsuke did not win when he faced AJ Styles when he first came onto the scene. I think also, like you said, lost that same year to Charlotte. I mean, Drew won his match during COVID, I think it was. I think Seth won his in 19, I think. I think Becky won hers as well, so yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm taking Charlotte in this.
It's I think like it's she's not putting Tiffy over because Tiffy's already over. Should need to be put over, but like I don't know why those two were the ones being matched up with this. Could be like a different person, but we'll get a good athletic match, and it'll be at least fun to watch for all the big high flying moves. So
So who'd you go with? You went with Charlotte?
no, a Tiffy time.
Tiffy time. I love it. Well, Drew, we have now approached the main event. This is essentially the favor main event. We're calling in all types of favors here. CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania for the first time ever. Seth freaking Rollins. Put your ones up. Acknowledge our tribal chief. This match is going to be a banger. It's going to be simply sensational. I mean, there's so much bad blood in this match that I can't fathom it not being a banger. Punk hates Rollins. Rollins hates Punk and Roman. Roman hates Punk and Rollins. Like, it's all this hate. And these guys are just night after night after night, promo after promo, right? Punk stopping, right? Rollins, sidelined Reigns with a stomping his head on the steel steps, right? It just, again, then he stomps Punk from winning the chamber to give Cena the win, right? And it's just all this beautiful combination of promos. And you add in the Paul Favor mix of how Roman doesn't want Paul Heyman in there anymore. And now you really have what Rhodes has alluded to in last year's Mania. He's a chief without a tribe now. He's truly on an island of excellence. So lonely at the mountaintop. The problem is he's not on the mountain. Talking about Roman Reigns here. Seth Rollins, though, I think here's my bold prediction for this. I think Seth Rollins wins this match because he has sided with the
Really?
yeah. He's been wearing the get up. He had the turtleneck with the gold chain. What he wore Monday night with the big baggy vet jacket, like very similar to the Brahma Bull back in the early 2000s. And you know what he just kept talking about, Drew, that makes me think that he's siding with The Rock?
What do you say?
He's talking about what's best for business. You know who else said what's best for business?
Who said that?
John Cena. And we saw what happened to Cena. I think Rollins' hatred to both of these people, I think, is giving him It's one of those things where the final boss now is playing Puppet Master, right? Roman is on an island. He does not have his tribe. He does not have his wise man, right? So he's solo. Punk has the wise man. But we all know Punk will go out of his way to save Paul Heyman no matter. And Rollins is the ultimate wild card. And I just think with this being said, I can see Rollins. He's gonna, he's gonna put potentially Paul Heyman's head through a steel step with a curb stomp. And then what we're gonna see is we're gonna see Rollins get beaten and battered. Roman and Punk are gonna go for a combo move, right? It'll go to sleep. Here comes Roman with a spear, but Rollins gets out of the way. Roman spears CM Punk. Rollins comes back in, curb stomps Roman. Roman rolls out, pins CM. Cinema. And you know how we know this?
How?
Is what happens is that I think The Rock's music hits to distract Roman. And I think that's how we tie it all together. And if it's not at WrestleMania, I do still think Rollins has sided with The Rock. I just don't know when that's coming yet. It might be night 2 when we see it, but I'm not quite sure yet.
That wasn't so galaxy brain for my theory. You're like a crazy cinematic like theory about yourself. Mine was more kind of like dumb guy brain, but I think it's legit. It's that I think Punk was just one. It's Punk's his kind of his one shiny moment. Basically, this is his last WWE run. His first main event, WrestleMania, and I think you go back to the Chamber and Seth stomped Punk's head to basically screw him out of that the chance to go for the title. What if Punk does the same thing to Seth in that match? Some kind of stopper like Seth's on the cusp of winning, but Punk pulls some kind of shenanigans and does the Seth for karma. That's kind of my thought for winning it. I love the connections because both Roman and Seth were with the Shield for Punk back in the day. Now they're back in the same ring. And then, of course, Rollins hates Punk like on and off screen, it seems like, at some points. And it's really cool to see that, like, it's the level playing field because Roman's like not the top dog. He's like just one of the 3 guys that can possibly win. But I'm going Punk here. I don't like it, but I'm picking Punk doing kind of it's like his moment in the sun in Las Vegas.
I just love my theory too much. I think like if all those dots connect, Drew, we're coming back on this emergency show on Sunday, and we're breaking this thing down.
Doing the
But if I'm wrong, if I'm way off, and this is all just for nothing, then so be it.
doing the one horse like fingers, like, oh, what if this is it? Why isn't he?
I will say history since they've gone to the two night mania, they have always left the one night with a like feel good moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can look back. I mean, they started doing the night 2 stuff since COVID, but obviously I'm going to kind of keep it short where it was like WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, right? We get Sammy and KO finally defeat, Jay and Jimmy, ending the crazy title run, right? And what happened night 2? Roman defeats Cody and leaving all of us in shock.
That was Solo's debut.
Solo's debut. In shock. What happens night 1 of last year? It's Roman Rock versus Rollins and Rhodes. Who comes out on top? Rock and Roman. Going to night 2, we get the best 5 minutes of wrestling history. Everybody comes out to save Cody and Roman, and Cody has his moment and all that. And with that being said, if you're thinking it's Punk's moment, his feel good moment, that just doesn't bode well for night 2. With
just look in his eyes, Jacob. What do you see? What do you see in his personality?
Cold. I don't know. I don't want Rhodes to lose the belt, and I don't want him to lose it to John Cena. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. We'll tie some loose ends. But I have Rollins. Drew has CM Punk ending night 1 of WrestleMania. Now, night 2. Drew, what match do you think will kick off night 2?
It's gotta be like a tone setter for the night. So I'm gonna say Fatal 4-Way. with Penta, Dirty Dom, I'm blank of Finn Balor, and Let the Dogs Freaking Eat, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I would literally, as soon as we started talking, I started writing down Fatal 4-Way. Like, it has to open night two. It's, you got these guys who are going to be so good, it's going to be a banger. Now, it feels Penta's come in and has been absolutely nothing. No feel. Cero
You know,
Miro, right? But Braun Breaker, man, that dog, you let him off the leash. It is dangerous to let the dog off the leash.
these spears are lethal.
Spears will put you in a hospital, right? You know, it's one of those things where you look at it and Dirty Dom and Finn Balor, part of the Judgment Day, I do, Drew, we were texting and we talked about we want a surprise for this moment. I think the surprise we're going to get is that we're going to see the Judgment Day turn on Finn Balor. They've been teasing it, they've been hinting at it. I think there's going to be a new leader of the Judgment Day. This one, I just want it to happen. I think it'll be great. His contract's up at AEW. He's a free agent. Maybe he comes back under a different moniker. But if he comes back under the same one, what if it's Aleister Black pulling all the strings? Pulling the strings for Carlito. And JD now turns on him. And now it's Dirty Dom and Liv, all under Aleister Black, now the new leader of the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
Because now, like, maybe I'm way out there, but like we thought of the same thing when like Finn Balor was secretly he turned on Edge out of nowhere, and we were like, this is insanely rogue. I think this is a chance to do that, right? I think Finn is done. I think Finn's gonna get another singles push. I think they're going to try and make him the Finn Balor of old. The Balor Club, the Demon, right? Dirty Dom's going to continue his antics. He's so good in the ring, though. Dominic Mysterio's so good in the ring. This is just going to be, you get a mix of Finn is high flying, Braun Baker is so physical, Penta. You get the luchador aspect, and Dominic Mysterio is the guy that can hang with all of them perfectly in this style of wrestling. But that being said, Penta didn't come to WWE to not have a belt. So with that being said, I think Penta wins this, but I think he stands tall, and I hate to say it, but I think Finn Balor is going to eat this pin. Dominic is going to leave. Braun's going to be too banged up. And I think Finn's going to eat, and eat the tag from Penta, and Penta is going to be our new Intercontinental champion.
I hate that pick. It's a fatal 4-way because so the kind of it's a the kind of if you lose a match, you can't say you lost to like the winner like in a straight match. Kind of can get a rematch in the kind of 4-way format. I love Penta. He had a really great AEW run with his brother Ray Phoenix, who's also now in WWE. He's incredible luchador, and he can wrestle with anybody. And his match with Gable was incredible on the Raw. I think he debuted one of the first couple Raws on Netflix. I love Braun though. I have him winning this match because like he's this crazy super freak athlete who has the size, the speed, the crowd's behind him. He's just fun to watch. His uncle, Scott Steiner's Dallas, Rick Steiner, like he has a great wrestling pedigree. Dirty Dom, I think people forget how durable Dom is. He at one point we wrestle on Raw, the NXT, the SmackDown, and do the same thing again. Like he's a really good workhorse really in his career. So great antics, funny, like, guy to laugh at, but like he's also a bona fide like, wrestler that can hang with anybody, which is incredible to watch. So I think it'll be a crazy, fun, cushion course match start night two. But I get Braun Breaker on a crazy ramp spear, and they'll bring the reaction back into the ring, do a Frankensteiner, and pin Penta for the belt.
I mean, if Braun Breaker doesn't give us the Steiner math promo, this match isn't worth the hype. I need a Steiner math promo from Braun Breaker. It's gonna be so good when he does it. The crowd's gonna go crazy.
25% chance, 50% chance, 33%, and I'm not normal.
I know. Moving on here, coming off that banger of a match, we're gonna get some lukewarm milk. We're gonna get the women's tag team championship of Liv, Raquel, Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Bailey, and Lyra. Dude, if you want to go heat up some pizza rolls or you want to go get some food, you need to go use the bathroom. This is the match to do it. This is just boring. It was a match to have a match. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of leave it plain and simple. I don't see why you take the belt off Liv if you're going to continue this whole, Judgment Day storyline, eliminating Finn, right? Dominic's going to be probably involved in this match somehow. I'm just keeping it simple. You want to talk about sauce? This thing's sauceless. This is boiled chicken, unseasoned. I'm going Liv and Raquel. It's just not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fair. Ira Valkyrie's a great wrestler, but she also is so forgettable on the mic. Bailey's so forgettable on the mic. I mean, she had her moment last year where we all really wanted Bailey, and that was great. But do we still want Bailey in the terms of a grand storyline? I'm not quite sure. And Liv and Raquel with the Judgment Day is a lot more interesting to me post Mania than it will be with Bailey and Lyra.
Yeah, this match was solely in the card for the belt alone. It's like how we're gonna get a match with the champions, and it's a very slapped together opponents with Bailey and Valkyrie because I think it's way to showcase Liv and Raquel, but is it a squash match? What is it?
Yeah, it's whatever, right? Yeah, we don't need to give it more. I think after that, I think we're going to get. Did I miss a night one match? I think I did. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay.
Also, for the favor match, what if we get Jelly Roll on the mic before the ring saying in favor? Do that.
Maybe. Is he the official song?
I don't know.
Remember when it was The Weekend for 8 years in a row?
Yeah.
And it was songs from 2019 being played in 2023, and you're like, this makes no sense. But I think the next match I think we're gonna see here is AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. And this is just a match I think solely to get Logan Paul on the card. You know what I'm saying? What are they even feuding about? Do you know what they're feuding about?
I think it's old school versus new school, I guess. I don't know, maybe how Logan Paul's not a real, bona fide bred wrestler as compared to AJ Styles old school, works his way up from indies to the main brand.
I guess it's again, these guys are gonna crush it in the ring. This is one of those where it's Logan and AJ, just here's 20 minutes, make it the best freaking 20 minutes you're gonna have. We know there's going to be some type of antics. We've had antics every year. Who's going to be in the Prime Battle this year is really the question. Because the first year we had it was KSI. And last year we had the Barkin I Show Speed as he gets eviscerated by Randy. Did he get eviscerated? Oh no, he got eviscerated by Randy, and then in the Rumble, he got the spear. He got the spear of a lifetime.
That was a stiff shot. It was
the stiff shot was crazy. I think that's probably who do we think is going to be in the Prime Bottle this year?
This might be controversial. He's on a different brand. Big Justice maybe under the bottle, does he cross brands and go to WWE and gets his butt beat in the middle of the ring?
I don't know. He's got a contract. Tony Khan likes his contracts. I think it's going to be his buddy Mike. I think it's Mike's turn to eat whatever punishment comes from the Prime Bottle. If it's not him, then maybe Jake. I would love that personally. But I do think it'll be Mike in the Prime Bottle. With that being said, I love this match for the simple point of I'm going to be glued to my TV. It's going to be good. The match is going to be high flying. It's going to be fast. It's going to be exciting. But I think Logan Paul comes out on top. I really like Logan lost last year. I don't see Logan losing again. Just that's kind of my logic. Plus, I think we're approaching the AJ Styles retirement tour soon. As much as we hate to say it, hate to see it, our boy's a beefcake. But time's coming for AJ. AJ's 48, 45. He's old. He's getting up there. So I think it's Logan's match here.
Yeah, I see Logan win this one, but I mean AJ still has his fastball. He still beats highly at his age. For the listeners here, if you want a good match from AJ Styles, look at WrestleMania 2017, Shane McMahon match in Orlando. Phenomenal match he had, no pun intended. I'll take Logan Paul here to beat AJ, but giving AJ Styles forearm to Mike from the top of the rope.
We love it. Moving on here again. I'm kind of torn for where this is gonna go. I think we get the Randy Orton versus vacant opponent. I think this will go on night 2. Maybe it'll be night 1. I just don't see it being a night 1 decision, honestly. But I think night 1 needs a little bit more juice, so they might go that route. But we're gonna leave it a night 2 because nobody knows yet. It's kind of in the air. Who do we think will face Randy in this match?
I've seen a few theories on TikTok. First one who was they were saying a lot is Nick Aldis, the SmackDown GM. You know, for, indie wrestler, we've all known for the territories he was in. He actually faced Cody at one point in his career. Makes sense, you know, the authority versus wrestler kind of angle there. Could be a little juice to that. I also saw possible Miro come back and facing Randy Orton as a comeback like surprise person.
Rusev.
Or Sheamus.
Personally, I would love Rusev. I think that would be just a technical gold mine. I think it'd be a masterpiece, but the storyline doesn't make any sense. Sheamus is going to be a banger. You know it's going to be a banger, but the Nick Aldis piece makes the most sense. Nick hasn't wrestled in a while, but if you're bringing him out for one match, I think Nick can do it. I don't think this match is going to be very long, obviously. Nick hasn't wrestled in a while, I think. But I do think it's going to be Nick Aldis is that match. And if that is the case, like, the GM has to beat Randy, right?
I don't know. Randy's Hall of Fame wrestler, like, the fans love. I can't say listen to Nick Aldis, though.
I'm going to go with my homeboy Randy, St. Louis guy. Don't overthink it. You going Randy?
Yeah, I'm going Randy. Give me 5 RKOs. It's my guess.
And with that being said, after that, I think what's going to happen here, I'm tossed between 2 matches. And it's depending on how I see it being played out. I think the next match will be the triple threat. And my logic is because they want the main event to have its own spotlight. To not feel like another match. And this women's match has a chance to steal the show. Has a great chance to steal the show. Io Sky, the most random champion of all time. Coming into a match that, like, it's like literally on purpose that she's an afterthought because all we think about is Rhea and Bianca. Like, that should have been the match. You didn't need Io. Like, Io should have just gone and maybe go up against Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green doesn't have a match, which is absurd.
She's a champion. She's United States champion.
United States champion. That's the only belt not on the card right now, which is insane to me, right? So that being said, it's Io and Rhea and Bianca. This is going to be a lot of power. Io's going to be high flying, right? Rhea's going to throw some people around. Bianca's going to whip that hair, the EST. With that being said, I think Bianca comes out the champion in this because she's gone through so much. She had to win the chamber, right? Rhea kind of inserted herself into this match. Maybe we see Liv and Dirty Dom get involved. But Io Sky's going to eat this pin, though. Io Sky's going to eat this pin in this match. It's either Bianca or Rhea winning, then Io is going to eat this pin. And if Io wins, great job to WWE. You still confuse me why you put the belt on Io Sky in the middle of a Rhea run. So I'm going to go with Bianca. I think I literally think Io's in there to literally eat a pin.
It was one of the rare times where, like, they actually title changed hands on TV, like on Raw. It was like weird to see they actually won it on Netflix. I see Bianca winning, like you said, and it's again triple threat. You know, where it's like, okay, you know, I lose to you 1-on-1, go rematch, I'll backlash. You know, like kind of build story on for future. So I can see why that's a good theory. I want to throw a surprise appearance here. It's kind of far out there, but her contract is up. What if Mariah May comes out to WWE, either Mania or the Raw after next?
Ooh, I like that. I like that idea. I do. I think she'd be a breath of fresh air. I think, here's the thing though, like going back to night 1, if Tiffy wins, right, that would be a perfect matchup for Tiffy as Mariah May. But, so you're taking Bianca in this?
Yeah, I'm taking Bianca in this with a hopefully better story build for Backlash.
Did you, did you take Styles or Logan Paul?
I took Logan Paul begrudgingly.
Yeah, nobody's happy about that. Well, we got another confusing match on this card. We got Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. This is a match that they just had to get on the card. They got to get these two guys in here somehow. They have beef. Damian says Drew's obsessed with everybody. Drew's in denial. I don't know what to make of this. I think this is why I put this before the main event. I'm not in love with that decision. Looking at the card, I'm not in love with that decision personally. I do think looking back now, we should have probably switched and let the triple threat go before the main event, but what do I know? I didn't make this card. So with that being said, it's Damian versus Drew. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be heavy hitting. We're going to see kendo sticks, we're going to see tables, we're going to see steel chairs. Like, do we see tacks? Maybe. We see a trash can. Tables are getting thrown, breaking through. Like, we're going to go into the crowd at one point. We're going to be up the ramp. Right. You know, who knows what's going to happen with this. But I think Damian Priest wins.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Actually, no, I don't actually. No, with this match, this is a crash course match. Like anything goes. WWE is known for like their celebrity, appearances and matches. What if Bad Bunny comes back and attacks Priest? The history from the
Bad
last
Bunny.
match in Puerto Rico a couple years ago. WWE enters their bag. Money gives the Bad Bunny the check to come out and attack Priest to maybe a future match with him. But I think that Drew wins with a lot of out of the box moves. But my hope is Bad Bunny comes out and makes an appearance.
Exciting stuff. Now we get to the main event. Cody Rhodes, John Cena. John Cena has ruined our childhoods. He has done a character we never thought we would see. He is sided with the final boss. It feels like it's Cody versus those two. We don't really see anybody coming to Cody's aid this go around like Cena did last year. Interested to see who does when Roman or when The Rock comes out, because if Cody has no help, Cody's losing. Are we ready to take the belt off Cody to again put it on a part-timer? Like, we haven't seen Cena wrestle much on TV. All he does is talk and rip promos. Right. I hope we get an absolute banger of a promo Friday night from him and Cody, like going back and forth. I'm torn because selfishly, I want Rhodes to win. Right. I want Rhodes to win. I think it's not his time to lose the belt. I think he's carried this company for a good, better part of over a year. I don't think it's time to take the belt off Cody. Now, with that being said, we talked about who comes to Cody's aid. I think Roman does. The guy without a tribe comes back to save his friend. Maybe not his friend, but he sided with him when nobody else did against the OG bloodline. All these different things. And like, I think this then sets up Rock versus Roman for WrestleMania 42. Where is that one? Do we know where that one is?
I don't think so.
Either way, we'll figure it out. I think that can be a surprise. I think Roman coming out would be an absolute shock factor. You hear it in my voice. I really, really want Roman to win. I mean, Cody to win. But I don't see who's coming to Cody's aid when the final boss comes.
I think
And
he's
the final boss has taken two things away from Cody. I think Cena will finally break the long-awaited championship, and he will be the official new record holder of the championships with 17. We're all going to be in shock. I think people are going to be in confusion, denial. Like, it's going to be the biggest talking point on Monday morning. Did they get it right? I do think Cena's going to walk out as champ.
you either die a hero or long enough to see yourself as a villain. And that's what Cena is. He's the villain now, and it was the most shocking moment I was saying in the past like 10 years in wrestling. See like the golden boy of wrestling for the past like 20+ years just goes full like ghost face mode, like just attacks him. Machado Scout punching Cody in the ears for no reason. But it's I want Cody to win because he had this incredible run. He's hot as ever with the crowd. he's the uber baby face, and if Rhodes wins, the crowd goes nuts. They're going ape shit. If Cena wins, it's like, is it confused? Is it sad? Is it like this ending sucked? Like what's to make the most sense for the crowd to like at least think, oh, we wanted for our ticket. And I think that Rhodes wins. We get some crazy little like almost like last year like legend appearance, surprise appearance at the end of the match, kind of alter it. I think at least with The Rock and like I said, maybe Rome because they both tag teamed at Bad Blood in Atlanta last year. It was a really great promo with them in Georgia Tech's football field last year. I think that Rhodes wins, and then he goes on later on to face Punk because they had a really good promo with Punk and Rhodes. Where Punk was like, "I'll see you challenging for the belt at some point." So we're gonna get that long-term storytelling with Rhodes and Punk later on. But I think Rhodes wins with this, but it'll be a classic clash that it's to have these two legendary figures in wrestling. Cena took Rhodes under his wing early on in Cody's career, so like having that full circle moment would be cool to see. Teacher versus student, basically.
Well, I think we have covered it all. Drew, we've kind of mentioned our, who we think are coming back. We've mentioned Rusev. We've mentioned, obviously, Aleister Black. We've mentioned a couple other people. There's one person I do want to bring up in this. We haven't seen her on TV in a long time. We haven't seen her on TV in literally over a year. I do think we're saving her for the Monday night after, the Raw after Mania. But I think Becky Lynch is going to make her return soon. I really do. I think she's got one more run in her before she calls it a career, gets another belt, does another run, calls it. She's the one that I'm keeping an eye on. I'm interested to see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, she had that book, book tour of her biography. She did that recently, so like she's still in the mainstream in the in the talk. So I had her come back from that and from her acting. So had her come back to give for the brand, and maybe then we'll see her against Prime A as like the new counter versus like the old like WWE girl. So like that'd be kind of cool to see.
Well, he has been the Spinnaker Swiss Army knife, Drew McDonald. I have been the co-host, technically the host today of Deal with D and J. Follow us on all platforms: Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You know where to find us. Leave a comment below. We have been the Deal with D.